He pulled her into his lap and made her sit on it. He brushed his finger on her cheek and asked, "What do you need?" He noticed that she wasn't saying anything and was nervous. "Jungkook, what is it? Why do you look so nervous?" "Wine. Can you let me do a job?" "Jungkook, not at all. I can buy you anything you want. You don't need to bother." "Wine. It's not about money. You're at work the whole day and I get bored so easily in this big, lonely mansion. It feels like I'm trapped in a cage and can't even go out according to my own will. Please let me do something." Jungkook. "But, Wine, you can let me work in your company," she said, but she immediately realized that he's a mafia, so his work would also be something illegal. Wine. "No, not your company, but—" Wine sighed and looked into his eyes. "Wine. I promise I won't do anything you don't like. I won't run away or something. Please." She made a puppy face for which Jungkook couldn't refuse her, even when he wanted to. Jungkook sighed and said, "Okay, okay. Looks like you win. I will look for a job for you." Vine became so happy and wrapped her arms around his neck as she said, "Thank you so much." She was so happy that she kissed Jungkook on the cheek without realizing, while saying, "Thank you so much." And he froze at his place because of what just happened. He looked at her while she was cheering and he fell for her once again. He kept looking at her until she realized that she kissed him. Her hands were still in the air and they froze there. Her eyes widened and she immediately got up from his lap, running towards the room, while Jungkook looked at her from behind and laughed at her clumsiness. Wine entered the bedroom and threw herself on the bed. What just happened? What did I do? I still have that childhood habit of kissing my mom whenever I'm happy. But why him? She groaned. She kept whining over what she did, but then she remembered about the job. She exhaled. Fine. At least he agreed for the job. Then she slapped herself. Idiot. Don't be happy in front of him from now on. The next day, Jungkook returned home earlier than usual to introduce her to his friend Jimin, because he can give a job to Wine in his company, and that he is a trusted friend. Wine came outside to see him, but she immediately ran towards him as if she was going to hug him. But turns out that she hugged Jimin and not Jungkook, and he looked at her with widened eyes and jealousy in his heart. Jimin hugged her back. "Jungkook, what are you doing?" he said in a cold tone. Wine immediately broke the hug as she realized that Jungkook was also here. Wine. He's my childhood friend, or should I say best friend. She looked at Jimin and asked, "But what are you doing here?" Jimin. "I could ask you the same. What are you doing here?" Wine looked at Jungkook and Jimin understood. Jimin. "So she is the one you were talking about." Jungkook. "Yes, she is. Do you have a problem with that?" Jungkook asked in a cold tone. Jimin. "Why are you getting all boiled up? I was just asking." Wine. "Will someone tell me what is he doing here?" Jimin. "I'm here to give you a job in my company," he said with a smile. Wine's mouth wide open. "You? I will work in your company?" Wine was really happy, thinking that she won't get bored at all from now on. But Jungkook saw her screaming with happiness, and he didn't like it. The thought that she might run away from him, or that she starts liking Jimin, scared him. Jungkook looked at Jimin and said, "You can go." She is not working at your company. Wine looked at Jungkook and her doll heart just broke. Jimin. Why, Jungkook? You just called me here. Jungkook looked at Jimin with dangerous eyes and said, I said you can go. He said and went towards the bedroom. Jimin was angry at his behavior and left from there as well. Wine looked at him leaving. She wanted to call him back, but she knew it won't do her any good. She frowned and angrily went to the guest room, closing the door with full force. Wine. Just when I am a little happy, he ruins it. He doesn't like seeing me happy. And here I was thinking he might love me. Wine had tears in her eyes, thinking that she is being betrayed once again. Jungkook sighed and came in her room. He sat beside Wine, who was crying her eyes out because she couldn't get a job, but because she was being betrayed again. Jungkook wiped her tears and said, Listen to me. Wine, listen to what? Your BS about caring for me or that you love me? Jungkook, I said listen to me, damn it. I will let you work somewhere else. Stop crying now. Wine, why not here? Just because I was a little happy seeing my best friend? Jungkook, because I was jealous. He shouted. Wine looked at him and his eyes were filled with care for her. Jungkook, yes, I admit that I didn't like seeing you happy. But you admitted too that I only like seeing you happy with me, not with some other random guy. Jungkook, I know he's your best friend, but the way you hugged him like that, it just made me jealous. You don't even like me, so I was scared that you might run away with him. You never even hugged me like that. Jungkook, he's your friend, and that is what scares me the most. What if he starts liking you? What if you start liking him? Then what about the goal of mine to make you fall for me? Jungkook's eyes were red from the fear of losing her. Jungkook, I like you, damn it. Why don't you understand? I want to be with you. Vine did notice sometimes that he cares for her, but looking at him like that and hearing all those words, she didn't know he cared so much. Vine, you should have told me that before. Vine looked in his eyes and she remembered how he said that she never hugged him. The way she hugged Jimin. She hugged him, resting his head on his chest and provided him with the warmth he needed so much right now. Jungkook hugged her back, and it was the first time they hugged each other like this. Wine. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you cared so much. Jungkook. It's okay. As long as you understand me, it doesn't matter. Wine. Thank you so much for caring for me, she said in his embrace. Wine. I needed this warmth and someone who cares for me ever since my parents died in my childhood. I never thought I would find someone again who cares for me. Thanks for being with me. Vine felt so relaxed after sharing her pain with someone and getting to know that now someone cares for her that she fell asleep in his embrace. Jungkook had an awful past, so he understands how much she needed this hug. He laid on the bag with her and they slept while hugging each other. They both had the most peaceful night, and because now they have someone to rely on in hard times. Next day, they both came for breakfast at the dining table without really talking to each other. Then Jungkook broke the silence. You know you can work in Jimin's company if that's what you want. Fine. No, it's fine. I just want to kill my boredom anyway. If that job comes in between our relationship, then I don't want it. Jungkook looked at her and smiled. If that's what you want, then it's fine. But just so you know, I don't have any problem with Jimin as well. Jungkook, I've thought about it the whole night that I can't make you feel like a pigeon your whole life. I have to give you space even when I don't like it. And most importantly, I will have to trust you, even if I want to make you mine. Jungkook, he's my friend and I know how flirty he gets sometimes. That's why I was scared for a second. But now that I think about it, he's your friend too, and he will give you good company. So, in my opinion, you should work there. Wine. Since when have you become so broad minded? Jungkook also realized it because he never lets anyone else put an eye on something that is his. Fine. But thank you so much for trusting me. He looked at her and smiled. He realized that she is the reason that he became so soft hearted. Jungkook, thank you so much for coming in my life, Vine. You made it so much more beautiful, he said and pulled her in a kiss with him. And she realized that it was the first kiss. He never did anything to her forcefully. Vine smiled and kissed him back.